Constant learning curve. I send the customer pictures of these. They decided to get one more extra. Okay. Now, I go to the Shipt app. Oh, let me show you this first. I sent the customer these pictures showing them the price. So they added one more. But now, when I went to go add it, a higher price showed up. But I'm not sure if they're only going to get charged the sale price until I get to the register. This customer was in contact with me very quickly, and we had a little communication, and they wrote, amazing. I have my Lidl rewards in the app, so maybe that's why she got the sale price. It's the customer who's creating the account on the app. Now, I learned with this store, they can add their rewards card, so they get the sale prices. So I learned that with Lidl. Multitask. I'm at a Target in Freeport. Now, I've never had to request at the cashier for them to scan a tax exempt, so I'm assuming that I have to pay for the products. I think that's how it works. So I was at a Lidl in Merrick, and they changed their way of doing things already. If you follow me, I've been at that Lidl at least a few times, and I was told to go to the cashier, not to self-checkout, because the machines cannot scan the tax exempt. So when I got up there, the cashier's closed, and I went to in this store, they have a cashier area, and they have 5 or 6 self-checkouts. So the cashier area is right in the cubby area of where the self-checkout is. And he told me to scan all the products, and he goes, then I go over there, and he will transfer the order to his cashier, his register in the area, and then I can scan the tax exempt. But we had to manually enter it, because the first few times I went there, I was able to scan it with the machine. He goes, no, we have to enter it manually now. So after I scanned myself out at the self-checkout, he came over, he swiped something, he transferred a receipt printed out, he transferred the order to the other register, and he said, what's the number? We have to type it in manually. And that's how it works now with tax exempt at that Lidl. Now I'm going to tell you a story. After I complete delivering this order, I had to wait 7 minutes, at least 7 minutes. That's when I looked at the clock, for someone to unlock the door to grab some ibuprofens. And I saw a worker, and I said, oh, hi, do you have a key? She goes, I don't, but I'll call someone. And I was like, oh, thanks. So I waited and I waited. And then the kid comes up, and I see him walking from the back, and he had such an attitude. His body language from the back of the wall all the way up to me said, I don't want to do this. And he acted as if he was doing me a favor. You know what? I know we are not the customer in the store, the gig workers that are shopping, but I am shopping for a customer. You know what I mean? The attitude's got to go. It don't matter what store it was. I doubled 3 bags, so it was 6 bags. I got ready to get online. I say hello to the man, the cashier. Now, he was definitely in his mid-70s. And I was like, I want you to know that I'm completing a shift. And he goes, wonderful. Okay. Now, the couple's looking like, what was the point of that? I had the 3 bags on the floor. I pushed them up, and I said, I have 6 bags. I had 3 that were doubled. He goes, I saw you, because I make noise and I make sure they're wide open so I could pack. As they're scanning, I'm packing. I'm not being lazy. I'm not being slow. I'm on my game. I'm into the job. And before he started ringing me up, I had to scan the tax exempt on their machine. So as he's checking me out, can you move forward? Can you pull the cart forward? That's in the way. And the couple behind them were like, you could tell, like, why is this guy giving her a hard time? This chick's moving. You could tell. So now he's scanning and he's pushing down the stuff, and I'm bagging. I mean, I'm quick. Respecting his job as I'm respecting mine. So he finished scanning everything. It was a full card. And he says, the tax exempt didn't go through. I said, oh, this happened last time. They asked me to scan it again. He goes, of course they did. You have that tax exempt. And I was like, yes, sir, I know, I have the tax exempt. So he goes, I have to call someone. Well, we have to wait. He was talking to the couple, and I was already pretty much done bagging. And at the end of the cashier, and he was like, no. He goes, you have to wait till she's done, because now we all have to wait because she has a tax exempt. She's working an app. And the couple was like, what's the big deal? And he was like, well, we have to wait. Like it bothered him that I was working a gig app. Now, when I first started, people watch you, people know. I remember people commenting, don't do it, Michelle. I don't know if they knew me or not. Why should I miss out on an opportunity? They saw the world changing, because that means stores don't have to hire people. And I saw opportunity. I'm not going to hold myself back and prevent myself from moving forward. I turned it into a job. I write off my miles. I have business expenses. I treat it like a shift. I'm working. I'm still working. I'm just not working in someone's storefront, like hired by them, a W-2 job. It's still a job. I'm still working. So and it's not the first one. It's been a while since someone treated me like that. Like, oh, she's working an app. Who the hell do you think you are? Maybe that man is in a bad position. Maybe he has to work at 70 something. But I didn't say anything. Only once I was like, yes, sir, it's a tax exempt. So, You know what I mean? Opportunity. How about you evolve with the times? Because technology will continue to roll out. Why don't you plan ahead? Why don't you take action instead of acting the victim or getting pissed off at someone else for making something work for them? I'm still working. So what are you complaining about? It just wasn't right. And I'm tired of, don't upset anybody. Make sure you speak to them just right. But meanwhile, they get away with not treating you the way they are expected to be treated. You know what I'm saying? It's not right. Even gig workers have a trying day, a bad day. Now I head towards Westbury. Then I did make a mistake. And even though I made a mistake, the manager was really nice to me. When I was online, I thought it was a tax exempt. I have to pay more attention. And I admit it. I have to pay more attention. This was a prepaid order with Target. Every Target works differently. I'll get back to that in a moment. When I got online, there were two people in front of me. The cashier, there was only one cashier on, 7 o'clock on a Thursday night. And I heard the tone in her voice with two people in front of me. And I was like, this one's done. This lady's done. She's in a bad mood. Now, the person in front of me, she moves up. She has two kids, and they're pretty well behaved. They were, nagging her a little bit. Mommy, buy this. Mommy, buy that. Mommy, buy this. I even made a comment. They just want you to spend your money. And the young man, about 7 years old, had a card in his hand. And the woman placed everything on the belt, and she had his one product up front. And the woman started scanning out, and she said, well, that's his. He's going to pay. And she stood back. She was like, you tell me what you want me to do. Like, and she was already speaking to the customer like she was so short fused. Like, I've had it. I've had enough with customer service. I knew that, 8 minutes before she started serving me. So then, as she's taking care of the lady, she had a few bathing suits. The little boy bought his thing. She was teaching her son how to be responsible using his card and paying for his own stuff. And the register lady was just so short fused, like, I don't care that you're training your son, So then, I just nodded and I smiled because she was still taking care of her. And she says to me, you start putting your stuff on the belt and start taking off the hangers. And the way she said it wasn't with, I would like you to do this or anything like that. And I was like, oh, oh, okay, this is for a Shipt. And she was like, well, I don't care. What do you want me to do? And I made a mistake. I thought it was a tax exempt. It was a scan that they scan it prepaid. So then when she scanned it, she goes, so what do you want me to do? What are we going to do here? What do you usually do? She was just so nasty. But she was already nasty before she even got to me. See, this won't happen again. I'm learning how to use the app. I learned a lot at that store today, especially with the substitutions, and the customer was happy. She was happy with my substitutions. Shopping for kiddie clothes is hard, and adult clothes. So the lady just didn't care, you know. I think she knew, like, she could have defused the situation, like turn it into no problem, but she didn't want to. So I asked for a manager, and it takes a lot for me to ask for a manager. I was like, I really don't know what to do here. I thought it was a tax exempt, and it wasn't. It was the prepaid. And then we discussed it, and I apologized to the manager when I got away from the cashier, away from her register. But she was already short-fused. She was already nasty. Her tone was horrible. She wasn't speaking to the customers properly. And it was just like she told me, you know, put the stuff on the belt and start taking off the hangers. So it was just the way she said it. So I just got down to the end, and I said, well, don't let it change your mood, Michelle. Bag the way you always bag, because customers appreciate it. And I apologized to the manager. I said, I've shopped here many times before. I know you have to go to each self-checkout. And sometimes you go to that self-checkout, and they go, no, go down there. And sometimes you go down there, and they go, no, go over there. They do that to you all the time, the gig worker, all the time. So with Target, I wish they would make up their mind. I understand this is a rollout of a new way of doing things. Copeg, I learned that I have to go to customer service. Then Levittown, I have to stand on the line before customer service where the customers stand and wait for their bags to be brought to them. Some people shop online. They go pick up their own stuff. Then the one in Lake Success, there's a special line. You got to take everything out of your cart. You got to put it on the shelf, and the bag's on the bottom. Okay, Freeport, you have to go to the cashier, and no matter whether it's prepaid or not, you got to go on the cashier. See, there's got to be one way of doing things. Us gig workers out in the field, they need us. I have to remember what every single store is doing. You know, that takes a lot, and I like shopping for them. I really do. I like their stores. So now it's 3 minutes to 8, and I might take this Levittown order. Let me see if it's still there. I'm learning that people don't want to shop. Those shops that have, 5, 6, 7 items of kiddie clothes, they don't get taken up really quick. They stay on the list because people don't want to shop for that kind of stuff. The shoppers want to shop food. And mainly food, and I get it. I totally get it. But I've been working hard to learn, All in Motion and Cat and Jack, and you really learn the product names, Artworks. I mean, I think it's called Model Artworks. I'm learning, and I also shop for men's clothes too. This one has liquor, and it's a large order. And it was at $22 a few minutes ago. Let me see what it is. Maybe 10 minutes away from the store. I took it. I'm in the mood today. I'll do one more and I'll go home. It's going to be a big shop. It's 43 items. And I'm picking up 3 different cases, 12 packs or 18 packs of booze. I'm working while I'm, on the road with Lidl about the fee for the bags. When I was at a store last week, the person said it's 15 cents. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, I thought that was, they told me without me even asking. Then I did ask today, how much are the bags? And the guy said they're 17 cents. But on the receipt, when I scanned the code on the bag, because that's how they do it. When you scan yourself out, you scan the code at the self-checkout, and it gets added to the receipt. Lidl, they make you scan it, so it gets added to the receipt. They're 16 cents. So I had 2 workers tell me 2 different prices, and they both were wrong. Oh, sweaty. I was moving. This is a large order. Now, this is the first time this has ever happened to me at Levittown. I have to get scanned out. I have to go to a cashier. And the woman, well, we usually go to a line here. That's how it works here. And she was super nice. And she said, this one, you have to go to the register. Sometimes we need a little help too. You know, it's not always, oh, be so sympathetic to the workers. We're working too. So I was like, oh, thank you. I'm sorry to bother you, you know, because usually the code pops up. That's only the way it happens here. But this is my first time. I have to go to the cashier and I have to check myself out. I'm paying with the card. That was a challenging delivery, but I was up for it. And when I got to the drop-off, I had 4 double bags stuffed, an 18-pack of Corona, those hard seltzers, 2 12-packs, some regular seltzer, 4 2-liter bottles of soda, chips. It was tough because one good thing I was up for tonight, walking from my car, and I had to go up steps, but you know, low steps that are very wide. It was pretty. It was all the way up to the door, but I had to walk up steps. I went back and forth 6 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, so 6, 12 times going like to there, to back, to there, to back, to there, to back, because I had that much stuff. 2 cases of water, a big bag of, a big box of those individual snacks, 48-pack. And she did say to me, it was very hard to get someone to shop for this order, huh? And I said, well, I believe it's because not all drivers can deliver alcohol. And she was like, oh. I said, yeah, I don't think all drivers are allowed to. You know, and you know what? There are many drivers, delivery people, that don't want to deal with liquor. And they don't have to. That's the joy of being a gig worker. If you don't want to deliver alcohol, you don't have to. Because there is added responsibility. And you witnessed, if you follow me a few weeks ago, kids try to get free booze. That's what I think was going on. It does happen. They think they're going to get away with it. Well, I still have to scan a license when I get to the drop-off, you know. So I'm a little sweaty now. My heart rate was up. I wanted to keep moving, just keep going. Get all this stuff up to the door. So that's that. I'm heading home now. Okay. The Levittown people, they went above and beyond. Someone in charge, I guess the manager, the cashier had to get a manager. When I first walked up to the Shipt area, they have a sign, Shipt and customers wait there. The customer service person said, oh, okay, you're Shipt? And when she walked up to me, I said, okay, let me open it. And I was like, oh God, the code's not popping up. And she was like, well, this one, you have to go to the cashier. Now, that's the first time that's ever happened at Levittown. And I was like, oh, God, I'm so sorry. I was like, you know, the other store, the woman wasn't very nice. You know, I don't know what to say. I'm so sorry. She was like, you know, it's okay. You don't need to apologize. This one, when the barcode don't come up, that's not prepaid. It's not prepaid. And I was like, okay. So you saw earlier in the video, I share a few thoughts. So this customer paid tax. There was no tax exempt. Now, when the cashier got someone to come over, the woman did explain to the customer service person that came over, because we're all learning. The cashier's learning. I'm learning. That person obviously knows what's going on. And she said, sometimes that's how you have to do it. You have to pay without the tax exempt. Now, what did I do after I paid? I went to the side and I took a picture of the receipt. But the question before that was, take a picture of the barcode on the receipt. And that's what I did. I said, scan it, and it scanned a code on the receipt and all the numbers populated in the field. but this shop did not have a tax exempt code. So the cashier said, I don't know how to start this. And then the person explained, you're going to put everything on the belt. And they scanned me out as if I was shopping for myself. So I really thought eventually I would skip a few days not creating a video. But these apps, they change so quickly. It's by the day. They're trying to figure it out. I'm telling you, we are beta testers. There's no question about it. It's just, at least they were so nice. I ended the day on a good note, and I'm really happy I took it. And we'll see if that customer gives me a tip. I'm not really sure. The last one that she really did like she made a comment. She said, thanks for the substitutions. Great job. She gave me $1. But you know what? She could have given me nothing. So at least it was 20 and change, and it was worth my time. So, it was a higher payout. You know what I mean? And that one had a promo. So I don't know where the customers are all coming from. Are they only coming from like the Target website? Are they coming from one of the apps, like Shipt app website? Or maybe they're coming from someplace else. Because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. It's not that easy. So, I feel I have more opportunities forcing myself to learn about clothes and their brands, because clothes are harder to shop for, and many drivers don't want to shop for clothes. And there are, gig workers who don't want to deliver liquor. So that's a win for me right there. I'm very happy I sucked it up. I'm here to win it. I could have earned nothing. I didn't leave the house today till after 1. I'm just doing a lot in the morning. I get up, I get right to it. This was a long day. I mean, it's a little after 10. That was a long one. Unexpected, but I earned money. And I got the job done, and I learned a lot today. And it was all about Shipt for me. I squeezed in 2 Ubers. That was it. So until the next video clip, have a good one. Bye for now.